You're listening to the Devil Dog Talk Show.
This show contains explicit material and is recommended for ages 18 and older for mature audiences only. But hey, it's the internet.
Introducing Spencer White, I Don't Seem to Care.
Nightmares in my mind. Couldn't tell you just how they go, even how they're like. I wouldn't wanna looking outward for happiness inside. Is that a problem? I still like my life with all things aside. All my struggles, I don't seem to care. I'm living life day by day, burning like a fire. I'll build a rocket ship and fly to the moon, yeah. I just want to swim in the deep blue sea, to feel the distance between all of us, you and me. Is there a difference? I don't listen, no I hardly understand. It's not your problem. If I write it down, I'd be king of the land. Maybe the jester, I don't seem to care. I'm living life day by day, burning like a fire. I'll build a rocket ship and fly to the moon, yeah, I don't seem to care. I'm living life in my own way, burning with desire. I'll build a rocket ship and land on the moon, yeah. I've been dreaming about monsters in my mind. I couldn't see them, they're behind my back mostly all the time. I couldn't beat them, turn the lights on, I can't sleep tonight. But I'm not worried if I'm gonna live, if I'm gonna die. What's the hurry? I don't seem to care. I'm living life day by day, burning like a fire. I'll build a rocket ship and fly to the moon, yeah, I don't seem to care. I'm living life in my own way, burning with desire. I'll build a rocket ship and land on the moon, yeah. I don't seem to care. I don't seem to care.
All right. So today we have, you know what? I know your name is Spencer.
Yeah.
But what is your last name?
White.
Spencer White. Okay. So this is normal for me.
Yeah.
Because this is how I introduce the show, like, very often.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, I
forgot the last name. It's fine.
Yeah. But this time I didn't even get the last name. Okay, so that's perfect. All right, today, welcome to the Devil Dog Talk Show. We have Spencer White, and we're going to be discussing some of his wonderful music that he has being produced here at the DBU Ranch for our segment, DBU Ranch Daze. That's D-A-Z-E. And on our previous episode, we did a great in-depth conversation with Dust Bennett here at the DBU Ranch during our DBU Ranch Days. Lovely plugs, right? And what we got going today is a bit of an interview with Spencer and live play that you guys are going to be able to hear. Not only the song that's going to be blazing on your radios here soon, but another amazing live recording at the end of the interview. So please stay tuned for that. And while I shut up, let me go ahead and turn it over to Spencer. Spencer, go ahead and introduce yourself a bit.
Well, thanks for having me. My name is Spencer, as you know now, and I'm actually a Valley Center local, and it's Valley Center, California, and been out here for pretty much 32 years. Other than have lived in San Marcos for school, and also Ramona for a little work. I was a bagger at an Albertsons at one point.
Oh, nice.
Fun times.
The best bagger in the world right there.
I was a good one, I guess.
It's an important job.
And so I've always been interested in music. Started playing music, from the age of probably 8 years old. I was actually started on piano, but then transitioned to playing trumpet, which you'll be able to hear some trumpet on some of my songs on my album Salt and Light. And so I did trumpet from 4th grade all the way through college, and was really interested in jazz, and I just had a lot of fun playing that. But picked up the guitar probably more seriously when I was like 13, and then from there I was mainly just playing guitar and just trumpet at school. But
oh, wow.
So I've always been really interested in writing music, just listening to music, and my dad's always gotten me into a lot of good music, so
that's good.
Music all around.
Yeah, good to have a good culture of music, especially when you're a young person, and of course being in band. I was in band too. I played the trombone.
Oh yeah,
yeah, marching band trombone. So I know where you were. You're right over there.
Yep.
And then I was over here.
Yeah, we got to sit behind them and blast them with our horns.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, my ears.
And the trombones were always poking the saxophone players.
That actually is a really funny way to put it. I'm trying to refrain from going down the rabbit hole on that one.
Yeah,
but I got it. Yes, and I'll tell you what, it was so cool then getting into jazz band, because you brought up jazz. I love jazz.
Oh yeah,
I'm on a huge Japanese jazz kick right now.
No way.
Yeah, it is so. It's so flavorful in the 70s and 80s. How a lot of these musicians were able to be so crisp. And
yeah.
You don't hear about Japanese jazz at all.
No, I have not really dove into that.
It's a rabbit hole to get into.
I was definitely more into like the early stuff, like 20s, 30s. I really like that ragtime kind of jazz music. And a little Miles Davis and Coltrane here and there, and
nice
Grant Green and all that. But
so, how would you classify your musical, I should say, palette when you're writing and playing the type of music that you're into?
Well, I play a lot of acoustic music, a lot of acoustic guitar. So that's mainly where I'm writing my songs, writing my music. But I also play electric guitar at my church, and I like doing some leads here and there, and definitely into rock and roll. But from my music palette, when I was younger, definitely was more of a huge metalhead, just only metal. If it wasn't metal, I thought it was lame. And so I was just banging it on the guitar. And then I got more into the acoustic stuff, I guess more in high school. I was more into like Jack Johnson and Jason Mraz, and getting into that more niche kind of audience. And so I had influences to look up to and kind of write stuff, but I really just was trying to find a sound of my own, not trying to copy too many people. And I'm a self-taught guitar player, so I never really went online to look up a whole lot of stuff. We hardly had internet when I was a kid, and I never took lessons, and I just kind of figured it out as I went. It honestly took me around 9 years to learn chords, but
wow.
I was musically inclined, so I just had a lot of fun making cool sounds and cool little rhythm patterns, and just getting better as I went.
That's amazing, because one of the things I do for physical therapy is I'll play the guitar. I don't play I play with the guitar, and it really helps, of course, with the tendons in the hand and keeping the arthritis away and all that good stuff. And so to hear that you're a very self-motivated person to learn it yourself, it's really cool, because it probably gives you a better appreciation for music in general.
Oh yeah.
And then when you and this is just me projecting a bit, right? When you sit back and write, it probably gives you a bigger canvas to use, like what you're saying, to use that palette of interest onto.
Oh yeah.
So when you're playing, what type of music, or should I say, motivation do you capture in order to keep playing music? And do you go play live music in other places? Do you tour?
Well, I haven't officially actually done a tour yet, but I have played quite a bit of live venues and a couple other larger venues. I played at the San Diego County Fair in 2019, I believe, and just before COVID, and that was actually really fun and just a really cool experience to be able to do that. But I'm used to playing live music, and I had an older group, and I don't need to talk about too much about that, but that's where I went around and kind of played a bit of music. We're like a blues rock kind of country fusion group, and sorry, you can kind of rephrase the question again so I can kind of...
No problem. So essentially, do you go out and play live music like at bars? Do you go to like little
there's definitely
local
venues?
venues?
Definitely something now I want to get back into, because during COVID definitely wasn't doing a whole lot of that. I did do some more like private parties, but now because I have quite a bit of music online and available for people to listen to, I want to start promoting it more and getting the music out there so people know it's even around. You put something online and you kind of expect people to find it. Well, it's not that easy. You got to plug it. You got to
out there.
There's so much stuff. I actually love finding a lot of underground stuff because it just hasn't been heard, or they're not as afraid to make something more interesting, a little bit more nuanced, because they're not like a pop artist, not trying to appeal to a certain group really. They're just appealing to their small circle of friends. Yeah, their little niche crowd.
Nice.
So yeah, definitely playing live is on my to-do list. There's a lot of venues in San Diego and Temecula as well, so looking forward to doing that.
I forget about Temecula.
It's growing. It's booming.
It's huge. Yeah. My parents they live up there in that area, and just driving through nowadays, I don't like it.
Old Town is unrecognizable, from 15 years ago. So
that is so true. And to get back to Old Town, speaking of Valley Center, right?
Oh yeah,
historically known. Lots of celebrities used to live here. Lots of musicians used to live here. Still do, clearly. Right?
Oh yeah.
And to do that, to follow up and to kind of connect the dots here with DBU Ranch Daze, how was your experience connecting with Dusk and DBU Ranch and doing the Back to Two tracks and doing, live music like we were discussing? But what was that type of experience for you as a musician? And then what type of motivation did that help you kind of rekindle or find and get out to do what you're doing now with like radio distribution, all that kind of stuff?
Well, I know Dusk actually through the church we go to, and my dad was talking to some guy and saying that he had the studio and we had to go come and check it out. And Doug was saying how I'm a musician and how I'm playing music. So we set up a meeting. We came here. I saw the place. I was just instantly blown away. It's like seeing the Neves soundboard and all the plugs and all the different gadgets and the tape recorder that he has. It's just wild. It's really cool. I love vintage equipment and the way that they recorded music even back in the 90s. I love the sound and I love the artistry of it all. So I was totally hooked. So it wasn't too much longer after that. Started recording and actually put on a lot of work. I did 15 songs. And
wow.
There was days we did like 8 songs in one day. It took about 10 to 11 hours of work. And our main focus for a lot of those times was just get the drum parts down, because we're paying the drummer, and he, we just wanted to get everything slated, ready to go. Then I could always come back in and work things in a little bit, but also did our best to make it sound very organic, very natural, not so much tweaking and editing, but more just live sound and how I would sound at that time. And I can definitely say now have being in here a couple more times, I'm a lot better as a musician just by knowing the ins and outs of recording, knowing the even singing into a microphone correctly and all that kind of stuff. I've had a little bit of experience at other studios, not too much, but this place is just a huge step over the kind of smaller places I've been, and it's just an amazing experience out here. So,
and it's right in your backyard.
Oh, that's the best part. It's literally 15 minutes away from my house, and if I can go back to my place for a little bit, and then Dust can send me a little sample of what I've been working on, and if there's something else I need to go in and do, I don't have to worry about driving down the 15 and possibly losing 45 minutes just in the car. It's just nice to have this nice communal kind of recording space. And then also hearing all the other great music that's been coming through here, it's just really cool to see it getting in the know-how in Valley Center. So.
And building that momentum locally. Yeah, I felt the same way. Like the first day I came over, I spent 7 hours here.
Wow.
Yeah, we weren't working. We were just chit-chatting.
Oh, yeah.
Getting all the information out, learning about the equipment, learning about Dusk, learning about DB Ranch, learning about Back to 2 Tracks. And then he showed me your music. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, hold on now. That is some really good music. Like, what do you mean this is coming out of local musician? He goes, no, local, not local San Diego, local Valley Center. I'm like, word? So to me, being able to hear artists and having that impactful relationship of learning more about engineering, audio engineering, that's my geeky background. I love it. I was going to school for a while for audio engineering. We were briefly discussing that before we started recording. And so learning about like all the different gadgets and how-tos and learning about Dusk and of course seeing the progress of the studio, it was just like you were saying, just really just mind-opening. Like just whoa. Yeah. Like how do I latch onto this and grow with it, right? And to me, it's like one of those experiences as an audio engineer, or I should say hobbyist audio engineer, where I'm learning about, of course, the Rupert Neve, the Studers, those microphones over there, and T-Power. Have you ever heard of T-Power?
No, never.
I've heard of Mr. T, and he's got the power, but I've never heard of T-Power.
Yeah.
And so it was just mind-blowing the way that the conversations were going just one after the other, and we were discussing a lot more things and a lot more artists. And so I was really motivated to sit down, especially with you, and discuss, of course, the music, the motivation behind it.
Yeah, actually, on my latest project, the Trains That Come In, which is available on Bandcamp, my dad was playing a electric guitar solo, and we were just trying to find the craziest, just loudest, feedbacky sound that possible, and he starts, just grinding his guitar and making the coolest sound, and it sounds just like a train. I mean, it's so cool. It's exactly what we're going for, but I never would have been able to do it. And just to hear the original recorded part, and then to hear what's in the song, you almost wouldn't be able to tell, where it came from. Out of it was a 4 minute take that we did. But then he was just scraping it on the mic stand, and just doing other pointing it was a hollow body guitar, pointing it at the amp, making it feedback as much as possible. But that's taking awesome. That sound and then putting it into the song, hearing from where it came from to what it is now, is just super cool, and it's just really awesome.
Yeah, no, I do. That's the thing about music that I love. You can literally be outside of the box, outside of your comfort zone, and do something. Was it Bob Ross said by happy accidents? Right?
Yeah, they're happy accidents.
Yeah. And so to me, it's just remarkable that you're able to get yourself in here, put some music down, and record. And you said you had 15 songs done?
Yeah, my first album was 15 songs. So then I did a single, Turn It Around, and then another single, The Trains That Come In, and eventually I'll probably compile those together into another album. Once I start doing a bit more work with some more just single tracks, the 15 songs, it was a lot to take on for sure, but it was a big learning process, and also just so much fun to do. But I would say, being able to focus on a couple of songs or one or two songs is, you just have a lot more space to think about the song rather than, all right, which one am I doing today, or what do I need to put in this song, and then you forget about the other song, you have another part to put in, and you end up working a lot more hours. But it's good either ways. But the one biggest thing I probably learned from doing it the first time is, pick fewer songs so you can spend more time on those and become as prepared as possible. And sometimes you just come up with magic in the studio, and that's awesome. But the more prepared you are, the more time you have for those magical moments. The more time you have for messing around with sounds and just cool ideas, because you're not racing to just get the song done. You have more time to think about what you're doing. So definitely one of the things that I learned from doing this.
That's awesome. Yeah, honestly, to sit back and think about just how to get 8 songs, let alone 15 songs, out, I would be I'm just not ready.
The one thing I had going for me is I had written these songs. The first album, Salt and Light, I'd written a lot of those songs, years back. So I had played them live. I'd even recorded them at my house just on GarageBand. So I had a really good idea of what I was doing. So in that sense, I was prepared. But then, coming into a real studio to start thinking about, I can do this. I can do this. We put organ, we put trumpet, saxophone, I already said trumpet, saxophone, bass guitar, different drum. The drums was just awesome. I don't know too many drummers, so it's really fun to go in and play with real drummers, and it just makes the music so much better. But,
it's so true, especially when you have somebody dialed in.
Yeah,
and you can vibe and relate, and you can read each other's next steps. And, that's the whole thing about studio musicians that I think a lot of people don't give them a good credit or a rap for, but they're Johnny on the spot. That's how I think of it. It's just remarkable capabilities of playing. Now, when you guys were playing for Back to 2 Tracks, how was that experience for you as a musician, and how do you feel that helped you grow both as a musician, of course, but as a creator and songwriter?
Okay, well, as a creator, you have this idea that you're performing in front of an audience, even though there isn't really an audience, but you're going to be on video, and people are going to see you on YouTube and stuff. So you kind of have that performance mentality, but then also it throws in that you're recording, you're trying to do your best still, and play, but you can't mess up. Yeah. So. And we're doing it live, so it's definitely different. Where stop it here, let's retract that. Stop it here, let's retract that. And you're working with a lot more people because some of these songs that we did have quite a few different parts, and we were able to overdub. But in the Back in 2 track, you got what you got, and we got to set up the mics and got to set up the parts. So yeah, for songwriting, I guess it makes you realize the more parts you put into a song, then you got to fill that seat if you do it live. If you want it to sound closer to the record, some bands don't care. They have their record version, but like the Grateful Dead, they have their record version, but then when they play it live, they got all sorts of different versions. You got hours, weeks, and probably years of recorded music, and every single one is different. But for commercial, someone trying to get their music recognized, the more similar you are to what you're putting out there, it makes it more relatable for the people listening when they see you live and it sounds like the record. So keeping that in mind, for creating music, I really like simplistic stuff, just bass guitar and drums and vocals, but sometimes you want to be a Talking Heads guy, a David Byrne, but you gotta know where the parts are going to be, and someone who can do that. Because if you were to do something like Back to 2 Track, and you had these cool harmonies, but you did them all, now you got to find 2 or 3 more people to be able to sing those harmonies that you did. Or if you have like a sound effect from something really cool, now you got to do that. You got to replicate that again. Yeah, Doug did a really cool, really good take of one of his songs for Back to Two Track, Skeleton Ball, and it does sound a bit different, but they got really close, and they had all these cool instruments. I forget the one. There's, it's called a mellotron. So they were able to get that into the Back to Two Track. So that was really cool. And a friend of ours, his friend came in and just filled in that part. So it was an amazing and a really cool experience to see all the people come together and make the music happen. And same with stuff I did, and I was able to pull it off with just 4 of us, so that it was really cool. I tried to pick songs that were more raw, not as many parts, because some of my songs I do, I use a 12-string and a guitar and a lead part and some trumpet and stuff like that. So I was trying not to make more parts to fill in my personal Back to Two Track recordings.
Nice. And now, so the song that we're going to be recording today and hearing, because we just listened to the song before. That was the intro.
Yes.
And great songs, by the way. But the song we're going to be listening today that we're going to be recording live, what is that song, and how did that come to be about?
Well, the song, I was working on a couple, and I'm thinking about which one I was going to do, but the song I'm going to be playing is Hangman's Daughter. And it's just a really funky, just funny song. And I don't know, I got inspired by that Bible verse, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth kind of thing. And if we all fought each other till the end, if everyone's gone and everyone's there, but there's one person left, who are you going to fight? Who are you going to be angry at? Or who are you going to tear down? How many body parts can you get until they're all gone?
Right.
Yeah. And is it worth it, and all that kind of stuff. And also kind of the there's that idea thing, like you're messing with the preacher's daughter or something like that, or you're messing with, whatever, some guy's daughter, and you're going to get whacked. And well, this person's actually the hangman's daughter, and you know what happens if you mess with her.
Oh,
and
yeah. She's
kind of got a little sinister thing going. She's messing with other people and getting them whacked one by one, kind of a thing. So,
that's like it's a whole melodrama series right there into the story. It's like a soap opera.
Yeah, it's kind of a soap opera.
That is awesome.
And it's definitely one of my more darker tunes. I have uplifting stuff, darker stuff, bluesy stuff, and the song that you heard in the intro is more reggae kind of sounding. So I like to mix things up, be a little bit more theatrical with it.
Keeping it lively.
Yeah, keeping it lively.
That is good.
Kind of represents my musical influences too. So
that is such positive energy. I really, really dig it. I'm looking forward to recording and putting this out. And if you have any other promotions, songs, ways that we can get in contact, our listeners can hear your music.
Yeah.
How do we do that?
Well, if you're interested and you're also a San Diego local, I'm on Facebook, Spencer T. White. I'm on Instagram, same Spencer T. White. And if you want to hear my music, no matter where you're at, you can go onto Bandcamp and just search spencerwhite.bandcamp.com. And it's got my full album, Salt and Light, on there. It's got my single, Turn It Around, and it also has my single, Trains A Comin', on there as well. They're all available to either purchase or stream. And I do really recommend Bandcamp. It's a great website. It's free. You can pay a subscription and get some extra benefits, but the free membership is just, it's super nice. There's tons of musicians. There's a lot of bands that I've known for years, and I found them on there. And there's also new music that I found on there. So, and like underground musicians like myself and my dad, we're all on there. And also they really give a lot of the returns to the musicians rather than taking it for themselves. And I know a lot of people are kind of upset how these streaming companies make more money than the musicians, and I get it in both ways because they got to make money too. But a lot of the money that you put into Bandcamp, it actually goes to the artists. So
nice. That's a good thing to hear.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any shout outs to wrap it up?
for well, my dad's thing, which you'll actually probably hear him on your show, Cicada 3. His
Nice.
name's Doug White. So you'll learn more about that. And then we got Brandon Samaw, who's also going to be here. And shout outs, just shout out Valley Center. You know,
That's what's up.
This place is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it on the map, right,
Yeah.
Dusk? Well, all right, Spencer White, man, thank you so much for being on the Devil Dog Talk Show. We're going to be putting that live song on now. So, there. Now, thank you for being on. And till next time, Spencer, I really appreciate your time.
Yeah,
and
I really
look forward
appreciate you
to-
having me here.
Yeah, of course. Anytime, anything I can do for a local talent. And I really dig the sound. I really dig the music.
All right, man.
All right, thank you very much.
There was a one-eyed man standing in the dark, waiting for the man who took his eye. There was a one-eyed man standing in the dark, waiting for the man who took his eye. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, dancing with the hangman's daughter. When we all die and all that's left is you, where will you get your body parts? There was a one-armed man standing in the dark, waiting for the man who took his arm. There was a one-armed man standing in the dark, waiting for the man who took his arm. Eye for an eye, limb for a limb, dancing with the hangman's daughter. When we all die and all that's left is him, where will he get his body parts? And when life seems uncertain, then certainly so, the hangman's daughter hung you in her arms. When life seems uncertain, then certainly so, the hangman's daughter hung you in her arms. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, dancing with the hangman's daughter. When we all die and all that's left is you, where will she get her body parts?
Internet. Yeah, hello. This is your host number 4. My name is Yes, yeah, and I'm representing our host number 6. Yes, shit.
Well, I didn't need to sit.